These 3 racks of ribs are going to go on the Oklahoma Joe offset cooker. That's this time on... Well, I'm just finishing up salting these 3 slabs of ribs. Found a new forum online called AmazingRibs.com. I'll put the link down in the description. Meathead, the mediator of that, says that the best way to do stuff like this is to salt earlier, like an hour and a half to 4 hours earlier. The salt can actually penetrate the skin and get down into the meat and help make it juicier and more tastier. Where the other things in the rub, you know, the spices and things like that, they're just going to lay on the top and give that bark a nice taste. So you salt the stuff an hour and a half to 4 hours beforehand, and then I'm going to use honey rib rub seasoning. Honey rib rub seasoning. Hey, I can say it. Honey rib rub seasoning from John Henry. I like everything I've ever got from these guys. And then we're going to put them out onto the smoker, which I'm going to go get started now. Before I start firing up the Oklahoma Joe, I wanted to show you some of the modifications I've done to it. The first one I did is in here. This is the ash grate. And got these long stainless steel bolts, and put them on the bottom. These are 2.5 inches long. Put one on all 4 corners, so that when it sits here, it sits it up higher than it was sitting, giving it more air under there, more room under there for air to circulate. And now it's high enough that I can open this up while cooking and get my shovel in under there and get coals and stuff out that have fallen through and are causing a problem. So that cost all of like $1.50, I think. The last thing I did, and probably the most important, was I put these on here. See that? That's padding on all 4 sides. That helps insulate the top. You can see the top was bowed out more than the actual part itself, so I had to put a little extra through there on both sides. That should take care of a lot of the air leaks. And then the last thing I did was took this, it's just a wire dryer bent, stuck it in here, stuck it in there, and it points down so that the smoke has to fill the chamber before it can go out, instead of just going through and coming up straight through. So that's all the modifications I've made right now. We're waiting for the grill to get up to temperature. Gonna rub it with the East Texas Honey Rib Rub seasoning. This isn't like a brisket. You don't want to cover it where you can't see anything under it. You just want to put a light dusting on. I'm gonna do it the 3-2-1 way. So that's three hours at 225 or thereabouts, since I'm not so good at keeping temperature on the offset yet. Then you rub it, then you wrap it in foil with some liquid, and then you put other things in there, spices and everything in there to wrap it up, and you basically braise it for 2 hours to make sure it's soft. And it's funny, I can't do 2 things at once now. Let that form a crust while we wait for the smoker to come up to speed. Bottom number 220. Time to go grab the ribs and bring them out and put them on the whatever that thing is. Ribs going on. "3 hours and I'll be back." I wish. In about 30 minutes, I'm gonna have to go put some more wood on. I got a real good fire going. The on-board one says 225. Don't know if you can see it. Getting that thin blue smoke that we like. So I'm just going with it. It's been about an hour since this end is warmer than that end. I'm going to swap 1 and 3 so that the coldest will get the warmest and the warmest will get the coldest. Oh, and I have to add some water. Do that again in another hour. It's been 3 hours, so it's time to wrap the ribs up. The water pan's done its job and they still look nice and moist, but I'm going to wrap them up anyway. Take them inside and wrap them up. Here I am back from wrapping. Inside here is some apple juice, some squeezed parquet butter, and then some brown sugar sprinkled on top of it. These are going to go back in for 2 hours. I'm actually using some kiln-dried wood because it doesn't matter now for the wood smoke because they're covered up. They're just basting inside the foil. So in 2 hours I'll take them off, put some barbecue sauce on them, and glaze them. See you in a couple hours. It's been 2 hours in the foil. It's now time to take them out of the foil and put the barbecue sauce on them. The hour from the glaze, the stuff is done. They're glazed. Let me bring you in close to show you how pretty they are. That great mahogany color from the sauce. They're done. Well, that's it for this edition of The Gadget Griller.